Welcome to our next session of Revolution. Today we want to look at one of the things, our first thing, that has to happen for a revolution to be successful. We've got to recognize the problem. It was Benjamin Franklin that said, only two things are for certain, death and taxes. That's true, isn't it? I mean, yeah, death and taxes. And certainly it's true of the revolution of our country and our Jesus revolution. We are all going to die, and we all experience a tax. For the colonies, they were experiencing a taxation on almost everything they had. The colonies were thriving. They were producing more than England was, and the king wanted a piece of that. In fact, he wanted more of that than the colonies thought he should have. And it wasn't so much that they were being taxed, it was that there was no one to represent their interest. Parliament met and made decisions with no concern of how it impacted or affected the colonies. And so their battle cry became taxation without representation. It's just not right. Our tax is a little different in the Jesus Revolution, but it's exactly what the definition of tax is. It's a burden, it's a weight. That's what a tax is. It's a burden and a weight, and sin is our tax. The sin tax takes away from us every single day. Today, as you've unpacked that this week, and we'll unpack that further in your study, I want to encourage you to think about the fact that God has solved our tax problem. He's taken that burden. In Matthew 11:28 and 29, when Jesus said, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls." You see, our tax problem taxes our soul. It taxes our spirit, our body, our mind, our thoughts. And so to be a part of the revolution, remember our definition? A sudden, complete, or marked change in something, a drastic or far-reaching change in ways of thinking and behaving. The first thinking I've got to do differently is about the problem, my sin problem. But then when I step into that relationship with Christ and recognize that He's done something to take away the sin problem, He's done something for me that the colonies said the king would not do for them. Interesting, the colonies' frustration was the fact that they were supposed to be a part of the kingdom, but they didn't feel included. They felt excluded. Peter Drucker says something I like. He says, an organization begins to die the day it begins to function for the benefit of the insiders and not for the outsiders. You see, whenever the church or any organization cares more about just those they have than those they need to bring in, there's a problem. The early temple and the Jewish nation had so excluded the outsiders that Jesus wasn't going to take it anymore. And so He brought that to the table when He turned over the tables in the temple to say, there's a problem. This week, unpack in your group the way the problem of sin affects you and how you have to recognize that problem personally. But also take some time to celebrate that we have a representation in Jesus Christ. The book of Hebrews chapter 4 tells us that we have a high priest who is able to sympathize with our weaknesses. Therefore, we can come to the throne of grace boldly to receive help in our time of need. You see, we are not without representation. We have the one true God that became one of us, not just to address the problem, but to solve it. Embrace today, as you discuss and encourage one another, the wonderful celebration we have to know that we've got a representation, and we also have a Savior. We also have a deposit of His Spirit in us to help us to continue, not just to address the problem, but to resolve it and to live beyond it. It's what we do when we're a revolutionary.